Hey, what's up to everybody out there? Welcome to another edition of the Roundtable Talk. And I'm your host, C Money, and today is a very interesting episode for me because, as you can see, I'm in a hotel room and I'm in the great city of Atlanta, Georgia. That's right. I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia. I've been on hiatus for the past couple of weeks because um, uh, my devices was messed up and I was supposed to get them fixed and I didn't get them fixed because it would cost more to fix them, so I had to buy more whole new other device. And I said, what a way to start off anything with having, episode in the great city of Atlanta. So for the next couple of days, I may be doing episodes in Atlanta. I'm here for a couple of days. I'm up here with some friends, but they're at a different hotel. I'm sorry if the lightning is bad because I tried to fix the lightning because on my screen it seems like the color is like in and out or different. So sorry about that. I'm in Eastport. I mean East Point. I'm sorry, not Port. East Point, um, Atlanta. It's like one of the outskirts of Atlanta. So I'm out here. I got in yesterday, but so this is my first episode. Yeah. Um, when I get back to Miami, we're gonna when I get back to South Florida, I'm gonna do several topics. I want to talk about the Roe versus Wade overturn with the abortion. I'm gonna talk about that. I meant to talk about it before I went on the trip, but due to communication issues and my, equipment being not workable, I got this my equipment back up and running just in time for my Atlanta trip because I wanted to do a show in Atlanta. I will be doing a out trip. You see, I'm represent Miami and Atlanta, so I will be doing a trip, going out. Back in 2009, I did visit Atlanta, and I don't know if I told you this in the previous shows. I went to the World of Coca-Cola and the National Civil Rights Museum. And I also visited Dr. Martin Luther King, Dr. King's, historical, house. I visited his grave site along with Coretta Scott King's grave site. I visited Ebenezer Baptist Church where he actually performed, grew up in, and actually was a minister there. And I didn't go to the New Ebenezer Baptist Church. Back in 2019, I didn't do a lot of stuff I wanted to do. There was a lot of things I wanted to do on this trip. Like I wanted to go to Fun Spot and I wanted to do an episode at Fun Spot, but due to transportation issues, meaning that the city of Atlanta does not have transportation that goes to Fun Spot because it's in Fayetteville, Georgia, which is I think on the outskirts of Atlanta. Because when you look up Fun Spot location, it says Fun Spot Atlanta. So basically, you're thinking it's in Atlanta. I also wanted to try out Six Flags over Georgia because basically they do have a bus service that goes to Six Flags over Georgia, but being that I'm in one area and that's on the other area, and taking a car ride service will be up the roof. Like money is up the roof. I mean, me and my friends are all spending a car together, but when I want to do my own thing and they're doing their own thing, I'm using rideshare. I do have a motor car from when I was here back in 2019, and it does have some rides on it. I'm going to see if it's still good. I love the great city of Atlanta. I have an aunt and an uncle that stays here, so I haven't visited them, but I will be visiting them when I do come back because I plan on coming back with my mom. Um, it's a great city. It's a nice historical city. It's one of the most historical cities in our United States because it's where Dr. King is from. It's where Jimmy Carter is from. It's got a lot of historical sites. You know, Georgia is a historical state as it owns because basically a lot of people migrated to Georgia. And stuff like that. The only thing about Georgia I want to talk about is that Georgia, to me, a lot of people flee to Georgia because Georgia is one of the cheapest places to live. Not Atlanta, but Georgia in general. Meaning that if you go to maybe Albany or Tifton or Savannah, or you go to Bainbridge, because my dad is from Bainbridge, my mom is from a little town called It was called Chipley at one point. Chipley, Georgia. It is now called Pine Mountain. So, if you go to these outskirts cities, they're not pricey. They're inexpensive. A house will cost you maybe 200-300 a month. A lot of things there, but there's a lot of things about Atlanta that, I mean, not Atlanta, but Georgia. My thing with Georgia, here it is. Georgia would be a nice place to stay if you wanna save money, if you wanna live comfortable. But it's just everything is so spaced out. Even in Atlanta, just like I was just telling you right before, where Fun Spot and Six Flags Over Georgia and a lot of these places. When I last stayed in 2019, I stayed in Union City, which was on the outskirts of Georgia. I was with myself, so I caught the bus, and I did. And from the bus station, I had to take the MARTA train to the East Point station, and then take a bus all the way. And the bus ride was like a 45 minute to an hour ride, you know, to my hotel and then back. So when I did go out on the nightlife, or when I did go out, it was like a mission, because my traveling from wherever I need to go was close to over an hour and a half, because depending on where I was coming, from my hotel to the train station, it was about maybe 45 minute ride or so, or maybe more depending on the traffic. Then you got the MARTA train ride. So everything is spaced out and everything. That's the one thing that, it may iffy with you on, that. But if you have a car, it's fine. If you don't have a car, it's fine. Even in certain areas, like I visited Albany because I had a friend that stayed in Albany, and Albany transportation stops running at 8 o'clock at night. Now, for me, I'm like, that's not a good thing. See, the bus services here stops around 12 and 1. If you look up their website, I was just looking it up earlier, but and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Down in South Florida and Miami, they have certain buses that run 24 hours, because we're like a popular city. Atlanta is so. So I look at it as if, you gotta know, if you do come to visit, most people come to visit for historical. Like they go to the Doctor's King. The only thing I didn't like, and I want to do, if I can do it, and I'm not going to record, so you won't be seeing it on any of my episodes, because I don't know if they allow you to. When I went in 2019, I wanted to go inside the Dr. King's house where he was born, but you have to get up early in the morning and go to I think the resource center, if I'm not mistaken, and you have to register, and they only was allowing 15 people at a time. And mind you, this was before COVID, because this was like in April and May of 2019. And I was like, I was late. I was like, oh my God, I couldn't go inside the camp. But you can go on the porch. You can go look at, they have, a little plaque at the beginning of the sidewalk that leads up to the house. They have a lot of that. So, you can go do that. I did, Skyview Atlanta, which is the Ferris wheel here. They have one. They just built one in Miami, called Skyview Miami. I did the streetcar, my first time riding the streetcar in 2019. I did a lot of the stuff because 2019 was one of my very first Atlanta trips to Atlanta, and it was an exciting trip. And I'm here with some friends of mine, and I said one day I'm probably go sightsee, but I'm not gonna go to the King's House. I'm not gonna go to World of Coca-Cola or the Civil Rights Museum. National Civil Rights Museum, because those are the things I already did. I may do Georgia Aquarium, so you may see an episode of Georgia Aquarium. If not, you're just going to see certain areas of Atlanta that I'm going to pinpoint. I'm here in East Point. There's quite few. With me in traveling, when I go to a different city in a different state, or when I go to a different state, even a different city, like when I visited Orlando, like I did when I went to Star Island last year, as you saw in the previous video, or like when I visit Atlanta, I would like to try Atlanta food. I don't want to, like right across from where I stay, there's a Arby's. Down the street, there's a McDonald's. There's a Waffle House. There's a KFC on the corner. I want to try Atlanta restaurants. When I went here in 2019, I tried a pizza restaurant. And I also tried an Italian restaurant. The pizza restaurant is when I first got in, the very first night I got into Atlanta. And it was the first night I came. And I was going out to like a little club. And I just wanted something to fill me up right then and there. So I had a slice of pizza. But the last night I was in Atlanta, because I ended up going to spend a couple of days in Albany. And my last night in Atlanta, I ordered from a Italian restaurant, and it was so good. It I got niggleitis, meaning that it feels so good. I laid down, and I was supposed to go out that night, and I didn't. I got mad because the next morning I had to head back to South Florida and stuff. Um, so basically, it's like, you want to try something different. You don't want to go to Atlanta or Mississippi or New York or Chicago or California, you're eating McDonald's or Burger King or anything of that nature, because those are like national foods. You want to try something new. Like down in South Florida, we don't have a Zaxby's, which is popular in the northern part of Florida and in the northern states. Also Bojangles. We used to have Bojangles, like I said, and I did a show about it back then. We used to have a Bojangles. They don't have a Bojangles, so they're popular up here. There's a lot of restaurants up here that you don't see in South Florida. And there's restaurants that used to be in South Florida that are no longer exist. That they're in the northern part of Florida and in the northern states. So that's why when I come, I want to do different varieties of food. Only just this morning, I slipped up because we hung out last night, and I ended up at IHOP, because there isn't a Denny's here from what I was told. Um, and IHOP, you wanna, when you have breakfast, you go to the thing that you can get to right fast. So it was like that. But Atlanta is a great place. Also, what's historical about Atlanta is Tyler Perry Studios. I do want to see if I can go there, but like I said, a lot of these places are spaced out, and to get to some of these places, it takes you a minute to get to and from where you're at. Like my friends took the plane, and I took a bus because I have not um, flew on a plane before, and every time I do go, visit out of town, I always take the bus. So from here to my bus station is a pretty good, decent, because I'm taking Megabus, which is express, excuse me, express bus service. But from here, to my bus station, it's a little bit, out of the way. I was planning on staying in Union City, which was the same area I was staying in the last time I came into Atlanta. But I feel East Point was closest because I have to get off at the East Point train station to go to Union City, and then there's a lot of hotels in this area, and you know, and I was like, more, um, this is more better for my friends. So like if we meet up and everything, we're more closer to each other than going way out into East Point. I mean into Union City. There's a lot of great things about Atlanta that I love. Like I said, it's a historical site. It's where a lot of the black movies are. It's the um, headquarters for the world of Coca. I mean, for Coca-Cola. A lot of headquarters are based in Atlanta. Tyler Perry Studios is here in Atlanta. You got a lot of historical sites. The Dr. King site. The Jimmy Carter Library. As I mentioned before, there's and I did it in the previous episode where that they should have had a memorial site for where Dr. King and Coretta built his home, because I told you in the previous message when I went to the um, Ebenezer Church, one of the volunteers that was there, or the tour guide, said that they built a expressway right over the site where Dr. King and Coretta Scott King house was. And I was like, there's no signage or anything for a historical memorial thing. They was like, no, they just built the highway over it. And I'm like, that's sad. Like, you want to see the birth, you want to see the house, because a lot of people think the birthplace of Martin Luther King is the same house him and Coretta Scott raised their kids, but it's not. Further down from the Ebenezer Church, there, they had a house where they raised their kids, and the house got demolished, and the area was turned into a highway. There's a lot of Atlanta that Atlanta is home to the Atlanta Falcons, the Atlanta Braves, the Atlanta Hawks. You know, um, there's the Fox Theater, the historical Fox Theater. Um, the one place I wanted to go to, but they were shut down. I don't think they was open in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. But I also wanted to visit Gladys Knight Chicken and Waffles, because that was, even though she wasn't associated with with the restaurant. They just her son had her name on it. You know, there are places that you want to visit in Atlanta. I had a coworker of mine that said they climbed the mountain at Stone Mountain. I'm like, I'm not doing rock climbing, like, cause you know that's not my thing. You know, I did rock climbing before, like the little kiddie rock climbing that be at amusement centers and stuff. I done did that, but as far as rock climbing, like an actual rock climbing, it's too scary for me. I have a percentage fear of heights, meaning I don't have a full fear of heights, like I'm really completely fear of heights, but I do have some type of fear of heights. Like if I'm way up in the air, like right now I'm in my hotel room and I'm on the third floor, which is nothing. But let me be on the 20th and 50th floor and I'm looking down. It's completely will scare me, and it won't creep me out to where I'm scared, but it'll be like I'll get a little feeling in there, like, oh, I'm at the top, and I get this feeling, but I'm not completely afraid of heights. But rock climbing, I did it. Um, Back in 2020, me and a couple of friends of mine had went to. Um, I don't know if it was at this time, but I know this might be when it happened. We went to Boomers, which is in Boca Raton. If you've seen my previous video of hotspots in South Florida, I did a video of Boomers in Boca Raton, where I did the rock climbing that they had there, and my leg was literally there shaking, and it was like I was just like stalled, because when you climb, you have to climb to the top and I guess ring the bell or whatever. And literally, I was halfway and I was just like shaking, like, cause even though they say if you let go, it would just pull you down, but you have that feeling of the rope may collapse or something, and you just get that feeling, and you're like, oh, I don't want that feeling. So now you're like, what is what? So it's one of those things that you don't really. That's why I say I wouldn't do the Stone Mountain. A lot of these places here are spaced out, but what you expect, you're in Georgia. Um, I did wanted to do Fun Spot and I wanted to do a video, but looking at the location, and I emailed Model Transportation and they said unfortunately they don't have bus transportation, because I emailed Fun Spot first, and the call center for Fun Spot is of course in Orlando, because that's where their two main theme parks is, the Kissimmee and Orlando Park. But the outskirts park is in um, Atlanta, and I want to check it out, and see how it compares to the Orlando and the Kissimmee theme park. And I also, want to check it out and see how it, what it works. Because as you know, I'm enthusiast for theme parks, and also I want to do Six Flags as well. But all again, I may do Georgia Aquarium. I don't know yet, but and I may or may not. But throughout the my course of my trip here, you will be seeing videos of me in Atlanta and everything. This is just the introductory of it. This is gonna be a part of my Atlanta trip, and I just wanna to get the experience of Atlanta. If you haven't been to Atlanta, Atlanta is a beautiful place. I'm actually near the airport. I'm in East Point. My friends are staying in College Park, and we're more closer to the airport. And actually, this is 4th of July weekend. I normally don't put the dates on these shows. Like, I do put the dates of when the date was recorded, so you can see the day that it was recorded. But I don't normally say it in the video, But this is 4th of July weekend, so it gets pretty busy with a lot of events going on for 4th of July weekend. So you can only imagine what 4th of July weekend does for the city of Atlanta. And I know it's got to be great, but apparently the day of 4th of July, I will be returning back to Miami. So it is a sad thing. I won't be able to see none of the 4th of July festivities, because, I have to get back to civilization. So basically it's great. But this Atlanta is a great city. I love Atlanta. I like to go visit, from time to time. This is my second time visiting Atlanta. Like I said, I'm planning on coming back because my mom has a brother and a sister that lives in Atlanta, because she's originally from Georgia, and she wants to visit them. And I told her we would come. It most likely it will be next year. This is 2022. It'll probably be in 2023 due to my scheduling of work and everything. So everything. I also want to talk about, not only that. Let's talk a little bit about COVID updates. A lot of these places are now not requiring you to have masks. So in Atlanta, they're not requiring masks in a lot of these places and stuff, but they are recommending that you wear one. And I saw a lot of people who, at a lot of these businesses and a lot of these, clubs and a lot of these, even on when I was taking the bus here, there were people, they may not been taking the, wearing the mask and stuff like that or whatever, but a lot of things. So I'm looking at these trips and taking these trips. I'm also giving you CDC guidelines on everything and stuff like that, because um, there are people that are still skeptical about going out there and taking trips. There are people that are still skeptical about going to places like the theme parks and stuff like that. But you got to realize everything, even though the cases are up, or down, or even though people are still dying from COVID, and even though the people are still catching COVID, you got to realize we have to get back to some normalcy. We can't just live in the dark forever. We got to get back to some normalcy. We're still not in normalcy because there are a lot of places that are still hurting, especially in Miami. There are a lot of businesses and a lot of government jobs and a lot of businesses that are still hurting because they don't have enough employees, and now a lot of jobs are giving you sign-in bonuses to come work for them. I know McDonald's is offering close to $300 just as a sign-in bonus just for working for them, and I know there's a lot of other companies that are using sign-in bonuses for people to come work for them because they're really hurting bad. There are people, there are businesses that are really hurt bad, and to me, I feel as if it is an economy that's really, like, a lot of these businesses, like I told you before in previous episodes, a lot of these businesses are hurting. A lot of these hotels was hurting at one point. Now the hotels are not as really hurting as much because there are people now getting back to um, going on trips and vacations and stuff like that. But you also have to realize one thing, you know, even though, cause like where I'm staying at now, the hotel, they're booked, cause they still have people calling in saying, they want to book. As soon as I was checking in, people was calling in, hey, do you have rooms available? Hey, and the front desk was like, no, we're booked. And I was like, I booked my room in advance online, and I got my room. And I was like, I'm blessed. And my thing is, and I tell people all the time, you try to book in advance. If you can go to the actual hotel's website, or you can go to one of the, websites that give you a price, like Priceline or Hotels.com, or one of those, mediocre sites that give you cheap hotel rates and stuff like that. Do it. Don't wait till the day of and say, hey, I need a room, let me go. Because 9 times out of 10, especially at these hotel chains, like Days Inn, Holiday Inn, Ramada Inn, like these hotel chains, don't expect to just come up and say, oh, you got a room, I want a room. No, because number one, they're going to give you a high rate. Your room probably going to be damn near $100. Number two, they're not going to have no room, so you got to luck. But that's what a lot of people do. And I look at that and I say, you can't, I'd rather for you to book an event. Because, some people, they just do it out of an emergency. This trip was planned for me and my friends weeks ago. And, we was like, let's go to, because my friends, they always come up here to Atlanta. It's just that with my work schedule, my time frame, it's hard for me to travel. So I can travel when I can. So I'm like, okay, I can do it now, I can do this, I can do that, so if anything. But I always, tell people, please book your tickets in advance, like with Megabus. Megabus is something like Greyhound. And they say the earlier you book your ticket for your bus travel, the more cheaper. Like if you book it now for like a bus trip in September, because their bus fares start at $1. So if you book now, you're going to get a cheaper bus ticket for now, say in September. Then wait until August to book it, when it's going to probably be like $50, $60, $70 to book it. So basically, I always say book ahead. I love Atlanta. When I live here, I would say no. Because here's the thing. Atlanta is just like South Florida. As I did in a previous video, the rent increase of South Florida, like And there's a saying going around that landlords are charging 2023 prices for 1993 kitchens, which means that you're paying today's prices for kitchens that look like they was made in 1980 or 1990, and but you're paying $2,000-3,000. And there was a thing out that saying Florida is one of the few one of the few states that the cost of living is high. And I agree. Because remember back in the 80s and 90s, Florida was the retirement state. When everybody retired, they flocked to Florida, mainly Boca Raton and all these. They flocked to Florida. Now it's hard to flock to Florida because a lot of the Floridians are moving away. Most of my friends that I know have moved away because of, number one, there isn't the job market down here. They just passed the minimum wage to $15, and it doesn't kick in until another 2-3 years, depending on how much you make at your job. Number one. Number two, the cost of living goes up a lot because my cost of living had just went up, and I'm like, dude, like, you basically got to be living on the moon to get deep. You basically got to be living on Section 8 to get cheap rent, and Section 8 and housing is a headache because there's a waiting list down in South Florida. And I'm like, yeah, because a lot of people are sick of paying these $2,000-3,000 rentals for only, and your apartment looks like it only, your apartment, you paying $1,000 rent when your apartment is like should be only paying $500 or $600, and that's ridiculous. But and I believe that's the same thing with Atlanta here, because in the outskirts of, in different cities like Bainbridge, Savannah, Albany, Tifton, Macon, and all these other places, you're not paying as much. Your rent probably $300 a month for a house, but in Atlanta you're paying a little bit more. Atlanta may be cheaper than Miami, but the price market is still the what I'm trying to say, your mortgage and rent payments may be lower than Miami. Your cost of living may be lower than it is in Miami, but it's still expensive. See, Miami, you may be paying $1,000 in rent. Georgia, you may be paying $800 in Atlanta. That's a $200 to $300 gap, but you see, it's still high, and and then in Georgia, the minimum wage is what, only $8-9 an hour. And I get why the minimum wage is so low. It's because the cost of living is so low. Like, the cost of living is so low to where, and then I've learned that in certain cities, like the if you work for the public schools, you only get paid once a month. And I'm like, so you mean the teachers and the workers and the staff and the faculties of the schools only get paid once a month? I don't know how it is in here in Atlanta, but I know that's how it is in Albany, because I told you I had a friend that stayed in Albany at one point, and I knew, and I, did some research on Albany, because that's the birthplace of Ray Charles and a lot of other people, and it was like, what? So it's a lot of things, Atlanta is a great place to stay. Atlanta's a great place to visit, but I wouldn't recommend staying here because, hell, it's like, excuse my language, but it's just like Miami. The cost of living is, increasing, and it's like, to me, it's a historical tourist city, basically. If you have anything you want to share about Atlanta, you can comment at the bottom of this page. Also, email me, roundtable00@yahoo.com. We are close to the end of our show. I'm in the great city of Atlanta, Georgia, in East Point, Atlanta, Georgia. I'm here for the next couple of days, and you will see very few videos, not many, of the great city of Atlanta. This is the Roundtable Talk. I'm your host, C Money. I hope y'all are staying safe, stay blessed, and if you ever come to this great city of Atlanta, please come and enjoy all that it's got. The historical sites. I still have pictures from when I went in 2019 of the Dr. King's memorial, his gravesite. I still have pictures of his house and everything. I have pictures of of everything. So it's fun. It's great. So roundtable00@yahoo.com. Don't forget to comment at the bottom of this page. And also, as well, if you got anything you want to add about the great city of Atlanta, let me know. Jimmy Carter, is from Atlanta. They have the Jimmy Carter Library. They always, the lady who did, who wrote Gone with the Wind, her house. I may want to visit that, stuff like that. So this is another episode of Roundtable Talk. I'm your host, C Money. I need to go get something to eat because I'm hungry, and I'll be meeting up with my friends in a little bit. So I'll see you on the next episode. Stay blessed, stay safe, and have a good day.